Hi everyone, this is Cher with Current Event Wars, and I've got some, we're starting part 3 on the Las Vegas um, event that happened here recently. Um, I've found some very interesting news, stuff that hasn't been covered yet from anybody. So, if Alex Jones is out there or some of the other people that listen to weird stuff, I've got a whole bunch of it. But I've dug up a bunch of stuff here, and I've been researching a lot of different things on this event that has happened in Las Vegas. Anyway, as I picked up here from the second video here that I made, basically I was saying that Clinton recently moved $800,000 from her campaign to help fund Antifa. So I want you to continue with your notes on the notepad, but $800,000 was transferred from her campaign to fund Antifa. Okay. I want you to keep that in the back of the mind because there's a lot of interesting details later here that I'll be coming and telling you about. But anyway, a lot of people, I probably have already covered this on the news and stuff like that, but a lot of people hasn't really got to know the man. That's why he's such a big question mark, and so many people are covering up the situation, because I do believe it's a cover-up, the whole thing. I believe the police are, no, well, they're supposed to tell the truth, but I don't think they're telling the truth, because I think they're covering it up. Anyway, if you see this gun, I want you to keep an eye on the image and what the cartridge looks like and what the shells look like. There's a lot of military people out there that know what this is. It's got the stand on it and everything. But we're going to be covering some of that too a little bit later on. But we're going to go into that rabbit hole tonight, and we're going to do some grinding on some information here. So he was a former mailman and an IRS agent. So that's basically a given. That's been covered by the news. He's also worked in other areas here. He was a semi-retired managing real estate properties that his brother made him millions of dollars from in gambling with high rolling in Mesquite, Nevada. He was also an IRS agent, letter carrier, U.S. Postal Service, and UPS, right along with IRS, and then later become an auditor for a defense contractor. So keep in mind all that stuff that I was telling you about. Okay, and take notes on that. Write that all down on a piece of paper, because we're all going to be little investigators here. We're going to do all this together, I guess. Anyway, alright, we're continuing on, because I believe the rabbit hole that they're looking at, they haven't looked in this rabbit hole yet. And I believe Hillary, that was the first one that said something about the shooting, and kind of said it not in a positive manner, kind of gives me the red flag that I believe that she's involved. So that gave me a clue to go look down her rabbit hole to see what's going on. So it is what it is. But anyway, she keeps on criticizing about the NRA. She's been doing it long enough, for several years, and about the Second Amendment. Her goal was basically to cancel it out and to get rid of guns and so on and so forth. And I will show you some interesting stuff on that too as well. So, yeah, it's it's getting to be really interesting, the whole thing. Um, I've never seen nothing like this. Many news reporters have said the same thing. But here's the kicker. There's a lot of people awake out there that's not listening to 99.9% of the media that's on the TVs or cable or whatever, and they're actually listening to a lot more real media out there, like the BBC or RT or Alex Jones or Drudge or whoever, and common sense is the law of the land, I believe, and a lot of people don't like that, the other opposition, but common sense is going to rule the land, basically, I think. But anyway, I just want to let everybody know here that Hillary was the most anti-gun candidate ever running for office in history. She also the NRA spent more on the 2016 election than it has ever done, with a minimum of $36 million to the Center of Responsive Politics. So write that down here. It's a Center of Responsive Politics, $36 million. Okay. So it's not like they're being shy with anything. Okay, they're all donating to everybody. It's all the candidates involved, I think. But they had the restrictions of sales with the administration of Roosevelt when he was in office in past history here. And advocates say the sound of guns briefly fired out loud obviously was a safety signal for people to take cover and be alert. So this is just some articles here that people have already done. Okay. But it's an interesting article. But another thing I thought was really kind of interesting as you go down the Hillary rabbit hole was, let me look here. If you go into Wikipedia, Hillary was a Secretary of State in Obama's administration from 2009 to 2013. So if you write that date down, 2009 to 2013, and Clinton responded to the Arab Spring, which she advocated U.S. military intervention in Libya. She helped organize diplomatic isolations and international sanctions regime against Iran in an effort to force curtailment the country's nuclear program. This would eventually lead to National Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action agreement in 2015. So she was involved with Libya in that time frame, which is kind of interesting because we're going to put pieces of the puzzle together one by one. And I'm not showing you anything that is false. It's on the web. My footnotes are in front of your face. So, it's not, I'm not making lies or making things up. It's in front of your face. Let me go back here. Also, too. Okay, let's see here. Here's a funny thing I think is funny, in a way. In her early political career, in high school, as a high school teacher, her father was a fervent anti-communist, and who introduced her to Goldwater's the conscience of conservative and by her Methodist minister. So evidently she's had an issue with conservatisms since her youth. Okay, so that's also making her a target there. Let's see what else here. But you can read about a lot of her history, and I don't need to go into that right now. But there was like I say, I wanted you to see the part on when she was in Libya, so the year and stuff like that. All right, now I'm going to go into this is from HuffPost. This was dated or updated December 8th, 2016. So it says Hillary Clinton is a pro-gun control, but she's also big on arms deal. So she wants to control your guns, but she wants to have them so that she can make deals overseas. And to me, that doesn't make sense. Why should we forfeit and volunteer our guns to give someone overseas to go shoot some of us in the back later on? That's about, for her being a lawyer, that is the most moron thinking I've ever heard of. Okay. Also, too, Clinton not only rubber stamped a major weapon deal with 20 countries that donated to her and her husband's situation and the Clinton Foundation, but also proved nearly double the amount of arms sales to those same 20 countries as the State Department of George Bush's second term. So she knows very well, she's very versatile on how to deal with arms and make the deals and trades to supply them, demand them, and deliver them. To me, I think, just from her history, I mean, the FBI, Hope Chavez, Trey, Alex Jones, all of them, they all need to investigate her. They need to lock her up and investigate her. And I know her hands are dipped into the pot, and it's deep down the rabbit hole of this pot. I mean, not just this one, but she has very deep fingers. And they need to be, her fingernails all need to be cut off. Sorry, but they do. Enough's enough. Also, too, under Clinton's leadership, the State Department approved $165 billion worth of commercial arms sales to 20 nations, whose governments have given them money to the Clinton Foundation, according to the IB Times analysis of State Department and Foundation data. The figure derives from 3 fiscal years of Clinton terms as Secretary of State from October 2010 to September 2012, representing nearly double the value of American arms sales made in those countries approved by the Bush's term. All right. Now, I'm going to tell you this here too. The investigation that they did on this, a judge by her fierce pursuit of 29 million, judging by her pursuit, she did $29 million or $29 billion of arms sales in Saudi Arabia alone, which Human Rights Watch criticized of oppressing women. According to the same International Business Times report, the Saudi deal was successful, was a personal thing to the Clintons. So remember the Saudi deal, okay, of $29 billion. Now, Andrew Sharpo declared the deal had been top priority for Clinton personally, and Sharpo, long-time aide to Clinton since her Senate days, added United States Air Force and Army have excellent relationships in Saudi Arabia. Now, this is what gets me. Our U.S. Army has an excellent relationship in Saudi Arabia. Let's think about that. Okay, so she's got arms deals going on into the billions of dollars, basically in all directions, like pouring water out of a faucet, making money the same way as much as out of a faucet, and using our Air Force and our Army to have relationships with Saudi Arabia. Alright, so that's that one. So, right now you're putting two and two together, okay? And we're going to continue on. Also, too, here on the magazine Medium, I think it is. This was published April 14th, 2016. I had to put this in here because Clinton approved a $4 million sale of Sandy Hook gun maker Remington. Basically $120 million of sales for the company that made murderous weapons to kill the children that was there at that school. And that included $4 million in sales of guns from the maker Remington. And Clinton used her office to facilitate the very corporate greed she claims to oppose, while enriching and empowering the gun lobby's claims that she says she fights. So here's the thing. The Clintons, from what I'm seeing, unless they're going to make money on it, they're going to be opposed of it. Okay. And let's see, what else can I give you here? Also, investigative journalist Lee Fang of The Intercept recently tweeted a link to the Pentagon document showing the arms sold by U.S. companies around the world in the financial year ending 2011. So she's got a long history, and it goes on and on and on. And here's some of the things. Let's see. Here's one right here. Remington, the same gun maker that made an AR-15 type semi-automatic and a Bushmaster XM-15E2S, okay, were the ones that the Remington Company in New York made and was sold at almost a little over $4 million. Also, the DPMS Panther Arms A-15 was also sold by the Remington. That was from Bernardino situation of killers there. Alright, let's see. Let me go into it a little bit more here. Alright, a foreign weapons sale required approval from Secretary of State of Hillary Clinton. The sales of over $100 million. Well, it's plus that, okay, but it's over $100 million in 2011 alone that was approved by Hillary. And this includes a lot of different kind of guns: Colts, Berettas, Remingtons, you name it. That was in 2011. And then Pentagon also shows documents that Clinton approved over $100 million in ammunition sales from Alliant Tech Systems, a parent company of Salvage Arms, which makes the MK2F bolt-action rifle, and also the AR-15, and the federal cartridge sells ammunition of AR-15 rifles in boxes of 100, and Lanza took 300 rounds, and the AR-15 in the school. So, alright, and then also too David Serrato and Andrew Perez also oversaw an 80% increase in weapons sales approved by Secretary Rice, which include 143% of her foundation's donations from Thailand and the United Arab Emirates. So I want you to write that down on a piece of paper here, okay? Secretary Rice and her foundation donors, with two of the donors being from Thailand and United Arab Emirates. And the two donors who received the gun purchases were approved from the Clinton State Department in 2011 after they donated upwards of $1.25 million to the Clinton Foundation. So here's my thing. If she's going to make the deals, she's probably making 50% profit on her thing, if not more so, because that's a huge number to come across. Also, too, here we have Clinton approved many military aids, including Afghanistan, Egypt, Israel. And so the NRA is funded by your taxes this way through the federal government, the client, the gun maker, and the NRA kind of thing. And then you, the federal government, client nation, gun maker, NRA. So, if you go to this article, it will show you a list of all guns that was approved by Secretary Clinton, how much amount of money it was, to what country, and what kind of guns or product it was, which actually totals right here, I don't know if everybody can see it, but $308 billion, almost $309 billion. Why? I want to know why. Why hasn't Washington locked her up? I mean, really? That's like me saying, I'm never paying my taxes again to IRS. That's like, saying, I'm not gonna obey any laws of the land. I'm gonna do my own thing. Unbelievable. All right. So then, on top of that, this is a really good article. It's a lot of different interesting details in here. But John Podesta, he was a fundraiser for Hillary. Okay, but also he campaigned that co-host a longtime NRA lobbyist Jeff Forbes, which exposed Ziad Johnny, I guess that's how you say it, Jolani, over the career of Clinton, over millions of dollars of various forms of support of gun manufacturers and investors. And also speaking fees and donations to her foundation and so on and so forth. So I'm going to go back to the top of this. You guys can read the details on this. You can look at that list and everything. But it's from the Medium here, and this was put out on April 14th, 2016. Okay, now we're going to continue. And everybody knows Brett Bart, but this is a WikiLeaks thing of emails on Hillary Clinton and gun control. And this was published, let me see. I don't know if I have a date on it. I'll have to look further down. Oh, okay, October 18, 2016. So basically it's just going over the same thing that WikiLeaks released on John Podesta, which also showed Hillary Clinton behind the scenes on gun control push and all that. And also tells about the different liabilities. It tells how she would executive order and what she would do on the push on it for gun control, and showing support of 25% tax on gun sales. Also, gun manufacturing to libel for crimes committed with guns. Let's see what else. And campaign discard shootings that would not further gun control. Criticizing the NRA. Let's see. And then talk about blowback on our gun control kind of thing from March 17th of 2016. That goes about that. So there's a lot of gun situations here with Hillary. And top list of armed companies. Let's see. Let me go back to this one here. This one is dated. Let's see. This is from Telesur, and this one is dating. Let me see when this is dating. Okay, it says December 14, 2015. So this is old news, but we got to bring the old news up to go further on the path here of what's going on. She was a favorite of arms producing giant. So she was an arms producing giant during the 2006 Senate campaign. So basically, she was an arms dealer, one of the biggest ones in the world. So you can go ahead and read that article on that, but everything's pointing to her on the connection. Also too, let's see here. Yeah, oversaw her arms deal in Clinton Foundation situation. Alright, 2011 arms deal led by Boeing and the American Defense Contractors. Now listen to that. 2011 State Department cleared an enormous arms deal. Arms deal. Did you see that? It's underlined. Arms deal. Led by Boeing, a consortium of American defense contractors would deliver $29 billion worth of advanced fighter jets to Saudi Arabia. And in the years before she was Secretary of State, Saudi Arabia would contribute $10 million to the Clinton Foundation. So this was a buy-off just on her planes, the advanced fighter jets that she gave Saudi Arabia. So it was basically bought with $10 million that was donated into their foundation. I don't understand how the government allows someone at any level, high-end security to low-end, to basically deliver $29 billion worth of advanced fighter jets to Saudi Arabia, and then get a, I want to say a bonus check, a kickback of $10 million to the foundation. Okay. I don't see where that's legal. That's like me saying, okay, alright, I'll pay a tenth of my IRS fund if you guys at IRS, I'll pay my bill if you IRS people will donate $10 million to my personal whatever foundation thing. I mean, really? Alright. So then, alright. Now, I'm sorry, you're probably hearing frustration in my voice because I'm just so frustrated that the government is not stopping this, but whatever. Alright, then another thing was she did another arms deal, and IBT found that between October 2010 and September 12th, the state approved $165 billion in commercial arms sales to 20 nations that donated to her fund, but then plus another $151 billion worth of Pentagon brokered arms deal to 16 of those countries. So it wasn't enough that we gave them $165 billion worth of commercial arms. We gave them another on top of that, $151 billion worth of Pentagon brokered arms deal to 16 of those same countries. Then a 143% increase over the same time frame under the Bush administration. So evidently this is going way back to Bush. Sales boosted military power to authoritarian regimes such as Qatar, Algeria, Kuwait, and United Arab and Oman, which was like Saudi Arabia but criticized the Department of Human Rights abuse. Okay. Then alright, let me see what else I can find here. Oh, and got to remember, all 20 of these countries donated not only once but several times to her foundation. Every time they got some arms, they were making a donation, basically. Also, the government was involved with arms deal approved. The Clinton department has delivered $54 million and $141 million to the Clinton Foundation, as well as hundreds of thousands of dollars in payments to the Clinton family, according to the Foundation State Department records. So the arms deal, she got a kickback of $54 million, another $141 million to the Clinton Foundation. Well, IRS, I think it's time that you audit her Clinton Foundation. And then have the government go in there and double check it. Alright. Here is some of Hillary's donations to the Clinton Foundation. And one of her biggest ones, and these are defense contractors. Excuse me a minute while I take a drink. Alright, the Clinton Foundation accepted donations from six companies that benefited from the U.S. Department of Arms export approvals. And these people that I'm about to say donated to Hillary's foundation. Boeing was the highest defense contractor of donation at $5 million. Then General Electric at $1 million. Goldman Sachs $500,000. Honeywell at $50,000. Lockheed Martin at $250,000. And United Technologies at $50,000. Now, this is Hillary Foundation donors that got big weapon deals. Big weapon deals. And let's see. And these were all authorized also by Hillary herself from the State Department. Alright. We got, let's see what would be, I mean, there's everything here. I saw Algeria, Australia, Bahrain, Peru, Canada, Germany, Ireland, Italy, Jamaica, Kuwait, Morocco, Netherlands, Norway, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Taiwan, Thailand, UAE, and United Kingdom. Now, let me look at this list a minute. Oops. Let me see who the biggest donation is out of all these. And there's some big boys on this list, so let me have a minute here. Alright, so it looks like, this is interesting. Norway made a $10 million donation to Hillary's thing here, but also Saudi Arabia. Yeah, Norway and Saudi Arabia, which is kind of interesting. $10 million. And then the rest of them fall between, let's let's see, we got one here, Kuwait at 5 million, Ireland at 5 million, Australia made a 10 million one too. So those are all donations. So, and this is all donations to her Clinton Foundation. Alright, then, okay, that's it. So, you can look at the lists also on this. And this is from Mother Jones. The writer's Brian Schwartz, May 28, 2015. And that's Hillary Clinton oversaw U.S. arms deal to the Clinton Foundation of donors. So this gives you a complete list of everything. So this concludes our part 3. And then we're going to go into part 4 on my next video, which is going to be very, very interesting, because there's going to be a lot of questions of why this happened and why can't we find the resolution here in Las Vegas, and why did this all take place, or why did it fall apart, or whatever. So we're going to conclude this and go into part 4. So stay tuned. This is Share with the Current Event Wars, and stay tuned. Subscribe to my channel and pass the word on through the web. But we will be starting part 4 here in just a little bit.